Hey everyone, hey chat, and welcome back to another developer live stream. And on this rainy day in Frankfurt, we are here with Dennis. How are you, Dennis?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you as always. Today we are going to be talking about a few topics such as Twitch drops that is coming very soon, community contest that is already ongoing, and of course Legends Return and Thundershower itself.
Yes.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's start with Twitch drops. Let's dive into it already. Yeah, so we have a new Twitch drops campaign coming on August 6th with the release of Thundershower and Legends Return. Could you tell us about this? What's new? What's different?
Yeah. So we've got a lot of feedback about the last campaigns and what people like, what don't like. So obviously we kind of, as we usually, we're going to shuffle things around a little bit and taking that very important feedback on, obviously. What we've done right now is a different campaign. Some pieces are familiar, but some pieces are also new. So I think let's talk about it a bit more in detail.
Yeah, so we received that feedback a lot that people would like the old rewards to return again. So as Dennis said, we took that into consideration. So we will have those in the screen in a second. But I wanted to remind everyone that you can link your account already on our website at huntshowdown.com/twitchdrops. You can also find all the information like FAQ, what the rewards, how it works on the website, and you can link yourself to Twitch drops there, and then you also have to link your gaming platform on Twitch itself. So if you're on Steam, you have to connect your Steam account. If you're on PlayStation, you have to do that, and the same for Xbox. So let's look at the rewards and how they pan out.
Yeah, so we've set the campaign for like 3 different weeks, 3 weeks in a row. And for that, we have like unique rewards in each of these 3 weeks, which we're going to talk about in a second. In total, we have like 9 rewards that we will have. Some of those are returning rewards, but also we bring in some of the stuff that people really wanted to have. So let's maybe start talking about the first week. So what do we have?
Yeah, so the first week, as I said already, starts August 6th and will go to August 13th. And we do have supply crates every single week, plus 3 of the returning rewards. So first off, we have Gator Eye.
Yeah, that one is a really cool one, the returning one. So what we can see already is like we will have rewards which we've had shown in previous campaigns already, so that other people also have a chance to kind of get to them now. But there was obviously a little bit of a surprise also coming back for the third week. The Marquis is one of those like really favorite knives as well. Like I'm really happy that we could feature this one again. Like it's really awesome to see that people actually have a chance to get their hands on it. It fits with a lot more hunters compared to what we originally had when we released it. So you might kind of see like some nice like synergy with some of the recent releases we have for some of those guns.
Yeah, and the last biggest reward for the first week for 240 minutes is the Bingham Bash, the Martini Henry skin. Really beautiful, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's take a look at the second week from August 13th till the 20th. So again, supply crates every week. And first we have the Moon Dial Charm.
Yeah, Moon Dial Charm, also a very nice one, fits with lots of guns. I like it a lot.
Oh, the Alley Cat. That's...
Yeah. So this one is automatically a winner for me because there are cats on it. So
yeah.
Absolutely.
Now I heard you also have cats, Dennis. So
yep.
We all do now. The Alley Cat, one of the favorite ones. And we have Old Tusk.
Yeah, Old Tusk is also one of those classic ones. This one I really enjoy because it gives you like that tier 3 hunter look from the past, right? Like it fits very well with like the ornaments on it and the secret script.
Yeah, definitely. And then the last week, which is very important because you mentioned some things are returning, and we do have the random hunters here, which we're gonna talk about in a second. But first, let's look at Era's Gift.
Yeah, Era's Gift, also a nice charm. Like I really like this one. As you can see, there's also even more cats on this particular screen, which means it's also a great screen already.
Cats are always the best. And then we have the 7 Sights, Spark Sniper.
This one I think is one that people are really looking forward to finally getting their hands on if they hadn't had a chance to do that before, because of its like uniques, like wrapping around, etc. It feels very nice. I really like this one a lot.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, we do have the random hunter. So could you just tell us how that exactly works and what could people get?
Yeah, so when we talk about random hunter, we have released a number of hunters as part of, for example, Twitch drop campaigns, but also as rewards for the Duck Tribute that you could get. And historically, we've been using activities like Twitch drops to give you a random hunter, which very often, if that's the one that's still missing, for those really engaged, obviously they have a high chance to get those hunters. So therefore, the random hunter is one of those favorites that you guys always want to get back to because you can complete your collection with that. So we're happy that we have another chance now for you to get the ones that are missing. If you already own the hunters, obviously there's going to be substitute rewards, and like just check on the webpage as usual, where you can kind of see what you will get if you already own one of those, and if you own everything, there's also a backup for that.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. And as always, please give us feedback about the rewards and what would you like in the future, because previously we had some new rewards, some returning ones, so we are going to experiment with it in the future as well, and your feedback is super important in that.
It's always going to be mixed up. There will be exciting new stuff all the way.
Yeah, and talking about community-related things, we do have an ongoing community contest. We named it the Community Kill Contest between the Team Judge and Team Fool. So what is this, Dennis, and how does this work?
So we've done a little bit of community engagement in the past. If you remember, like one of the old events we've had where the community could choose if they go for one team or another, right? Like, but it has never really had a big impact on actually changing the lore, advancing the lore, moving things forward. So this is what we try to do with the Judge versus the Fool community contest is now that by choosing a team, you can now influence what lore moves forward and in what direction by making sure that the team you pick ideally is the one winning in the end.
Yeah, and just to explain how it exactly works, each team has a few selected hunter skins, and by killing players with those skins, your team basically gets a point. At the end, whichever wins at the end of the week, that wins the round and unlocks some rewards. So how many rounds do we have?
So we have a total of 3 rounds. We've just completed the first one. Round 2 is starting on August 8th. And for each of these rounds, we are having a different subset of hunters that you can choose per faction, the Judge and the Fool. Both these factions always remain the same, but whoever the champions are for the faction per round, that's gonna change, and then you will be able to make sure that by doing the kills with your faction against the other ones, like you will be able to shape that up, what is being unlocked, but also you can get some rewards for the community with a discount on some skins. So that's really, really cool as well.
Exactly. And we already seen a lot of feedback regarding this on social media. So please give us your feedback. We definitely want to do more community-related contests. It's just a first try.
It's an experiment also in a way for us. That's also why it might be a bit lightweight at the moment, the way we have designed the whole thing. Like, there is not so much in game for you to see. The whole thing is driven primarily through the community, a little bit outside of the game. But I want to see how you guys like that. If you appreciate that, if you want more of that, and then obviously we take that feedback into the next rounds.
Exactly. And just to talk about the first round, as Dennis mentioned, it's over, and the Team Judge actually won with nearly 200,000 more kills than Team Fool. So hopefully for the next round, Team Fool can...
The law-abiding citizens of the BU have made their decision.
Exactly, and because of that, there has been some rewards with some lore that you can read on the screen. So this is the continuation of this current event. And as Dennis said, the next rounds will shape the future even more. And we do have a huge 85% discount on this awesome Creeping Night skin.
Yeah, so every time the team wins, obviously, check out if there's a cool thing you can maybe now unlock that you might have just given a pass before. So I think that's fair, that's cool, that's fun. So give us a feedback, and of course you can also read out all of these lore details on our socials. So just make sure you stay there on top and follow whatever happens in the bayou.
Okay, so that's with keeping up with the contests that are coming or going on right now. But let's talk about the big topics that I think everyone wants to hear about: Legends Return and Thundershower. Starting off with Thundershower, as it is finally back.
Yeah, Thundershower's back. Maybe for some people who didn't have the chance to play with Thundershower before, let's maybe talk about briefly what Thundershower actually is. So it's a time of day that will be featured on 2 of our maps for the moment. We plan on having it in more maps in the future as well. And Thundershower is a rain event. So the way this works, it has, unlike, for example, nighttime or others, it has a certain level of dynamics in it, which means that there can be both heavy or like a light rain. And they kind of change up as you play. So usually have 2 to 11 minutes of light rain randomly. And then that's being interrupted by 2 minutes of really hard rain, which has a big impact on certain aspects of the game, like visibility. The birds will be startled, so that can confuse you, as well as there's an effect on how fire works during that time. For example, if your partner is down burning and the heavy rain starts, he will be going out. That gives you a bit of a chance to kind of move around and get him back up before the heavy rain recedes and we have the light rain. So the dynamic nature of it is what makes it really, really interesting. And it gives you these awesome moments to be able to kind of maybe push into a lair while you use the sound for distraction, or it gives you a chance to kind of evade some pursuers. So the dynamic part of it is really, really important, and we're really happy it's back now.
Yeah, and just to mention, of course, it came with the Tide of Shadow, I believe, and now it is updated to the latest version of CryEngine. That's why it took some time. And just so we can see some pictures, of course, before the map was reworked, with the old and new in the Stillwater Bayou, looking beautiful in the rain.
Yeah, what you can already see here is a little bit that some of the areas that were very dark in the old iteration of Thundershower are now a little bit more brighter, so it's a bit easier to see some of the enemies and what's going on in the map. So in general, like, things have been adjusted a little bit normalized. There's quite a bit of thing, but the majority of the work obviously has been about rebuilding the whole thing, where we talk a bit more about that in a moment.
Yeah, and yeah, as Dennis mentioned, it's now on 2 maps, so that means it will be available in Stillwater Bayou and on Mammoth's Gulch for the first time.
So Mammoth's Gulch, like, obviously didn't exist as a map when we last had Thundershower, so that's a new place entirely. And then Stillwater Bayou is where you also be able to encounter it.
So thank you, Dennis, for walking through us the gameplay and Thundershower. Now we will watch a short video, and then we will be back with some audio and how the audio works during Thundershower. And then later, Dennis will be back on the stream to talk about Legends Return as well. Super important in Thundershower, and we have Christoph here from our awesome audio team as an audio designer on Hunt. So hi, how are you today? Are you excited to talk about this?
Hi, yes, very excited to talk about audio in Thundershower.
Yeah, so we will have a bunch of awesome information for you, so you wanna stay tuned for this. So let's dive into this, and first let's talk about the ambience in Hunt and how it affects the game, and how, of course, the audio.
Yes, so to kind of understand why we did for Thundershower audio-wise what we did, we first kind of have to talk a little bit about ambiences in Hunt in general. So whenever we do a sound for Hunt Showdown, there are multiple things that we consider. Like, what purpose does it have? Is it about giving some emotional context to the game? Is it about relaying some very important gameplay information? Or is it about to just like build the worlds, give it some realism, draw you into the experience? And usually every sound like kind of does everything of those mentioned aspects. And especially the ambiences, we want to support our rich environment and sell the atmosphere of the game. But we never really want to get into the way of other important sounds that are relevant for gameplay. So like, usually our core pillar for ambience design is gameplay readability first. And so you might already wonder, how kind of does this tie into Thundershower?
Yeah, so of course gameplay readability is a core principle, but that's really hard to do when we talk about something like Thundershower, which is chaotic and loud. So what are kind of the challenges you faced during designing this?
Yeah, so rain in general in sound design, talking as a sound designer, is a very big challenge. Because especially when you listen to a recording of rain, you will notice like 90% of what you hear will be just pure noise. Just and when you listen to this for prolonged periods of times, this gets very, very fatiguing to your ears. It gets annoying. And yeah, we obviously don't want that. We want you guys to enjoy playing Hunt for as much as you like. And also one thing that that's kind of interesting in this context is when you are physically exposed to rain and you are in the rain physically, like you don't really notice this constant noise after a certain while. That's because it is a constant stimulus. Like it's not, it's always the same background noise for your brain, and then it decides, nah, that's not important. Let's not focus on that. So when you're like physically in the rain, you don't really notice it. However, in games and in movies, this really doesn't work that well. You can compare that very well, for example, when you are in a room that is very sparse and empty and you have a lot of reverb and echoes bouncing around. When you're physically there, it's okay. You can still talk to one another. And especially after a while, you don't notice it anymore. But however, when you listen to a recording in a room that is very reverberant, it will be very like disturbing. It will be hard to understand each other. And so, yeah, this kind of effect is also something that we had to consider when designing the sound for Thundershower.
Yeah, so you mentioned that, of course, in real life, physical sensations are very important. But in games and movies, it is very hard to mimic it. So what is your solution to do that in the game?
Exactly. So when you play a game or watch a movie, obviously you only see and you only hear, but you don't smell, you don't feel, you can't touch or taste anything. And that's kind of why, especially with audio, we really exaggerate things. We make them what you could call hyper-realistic. We really try to deliver a sense of physicality with every sound to draw you in. And yeah, the most important thing about rain to deliver this sort of physicality is actually like the small details that are independent from this ongoing floor of noise, which, if you think about it, is tiny little drip sounds, which then overlap into a rain ambience. So that was our core principle for designing the sound for Thundershower, for getting the solution. Don't use real recordings of rain, like use a lot of tiny little drip sounds, like all the details. And if you add them up, then you get like this nice, beautiful and more melodic and less noisy soundscape.
Okay, so yeah, you mentioned right now that drips are how you managed to achieve this sound, but how did that work tech-wise? How did you build it out?
Yes, so how do you do that? I mean, the interesting thing about rain is kind of how it sounds on different surface types, how it sounds when it's above you or below you. Like rain always sounds different wherever you are, depending on your position and your environment. So, I mean, the naive approach would have been to just place audio emitters manually in the level, but as you know, the levels in Showdown are quite big. We got 1 square kilometer, and going into the level and manually placing audio emitters would have been just too much work and not very practical. So we came up with a system that automatically does that for us. And what we experimented a lot, and what worked out best is kind of to actually simulate rain in a way. So what we do, we are casting rays, so basically shooting just a line from the sky in a grid around the player, 8 by 8. And depending on where those rays hit something, we can place an audio emitter dynamically. And we can also change that audio emitter depending on which surface type was detected. So this is a very cool and smart way, which then kind of allows you to, to hear it as it would be in real life. Like on the right top, you can hear the little metal drips on the drips on the metal roof, and on the left, maybe it's in a tree, and behind you, it's on the fabric of a supply point. And when you move, you can also hear the soundscape ever evolving. And so you got a lot of variation, and it's very dynamic. It never gets really static and boring, and so you can enjoy it for long periods of time without getting too fatigued.
And of course, it was rebuilt for the latest engine of CryEngine. And with that being said, let's watch a little video in Engine where you can describe what we are exactly seeing and how the tech works.
Right, so here we got one of the debug views enabled. You can see basically how those spot emitters that I mentioned with all the little drip sounds are generated in runtime on all the different materials. So here we got just the rain on the soil. Then we move to the roof. You can hear it up. And then move away. You can hear it a little bit on the metal thing. You can hear it on the tree. Yeah, I think it's really awesome. It kind of works a little bit like an echolocation. You can kind of hear through the different drip sounds. You can hear your environment, and this we feel like this immerses you in the game very, very well. And yeah, we are quite happy with the result. And for this re-release, we also made it even a little bit better. Like we realized those drip sounds, they are like the coolest thing about Thundershower. So we also mixing-wise put a little bit more emphasis on those details and took a little bit less the emphasis away on like the noisy elements. Yeah, because we heard you that playing rain. Still, after all our efforts, it can be quite annoying.
Okay, so now we learned about the tech and how the drips work and how it actually looks in engine, which is actually super cool, and I hope a lot of people enjoy that. But of course, Hunt is not just about drips. It has like an eerie, scary atmosphere. So what additional sounds we worked on, additional elements that help make you feel that?
Yeah, so the grid of those drip emitters, this is like the main part, the meat and bones of the whole experience. But of course, it wouldn't. We need to support it further. So there are a lot of like additional audio elements that really make you feel like you're there and also serve other purposes. I think one of the most noticeable things that obviously you also hear a lot of wind, which is very dynamic depending on which of the phases that Dennis mentioned you are in. If you are like in the light phase, there's just a little bit of a breeze going on. But if you're in the heavy phase, you can really like through the sound kind of feel the wind pushing against your body. And also we got a lot of other environmental sounds which kind of just tell the story what the Thundershower does to the world. Maybe there's some trees which are creaking or shaking in the distance. There's some building rattlings and stuff like that. And next big topic for rain audio would be footsteps, basically. So fun story, initially we were a little bit worried about the amount of work also that would be required for Thundershower. Because if you think about it, like obviously footsteps on dry or on wet rock, they can sound vastly different from one another. So we were like kind of worried, maybe we do have to like redesign the entire footsteps in the game just for this one time of day. But what ended up actually working is instead of completely redesigning it, is layering it. Something you often do in sound design. And we went with some sort of like squeaky, squishy boot sound that makes you like really feel, yeah, there's this this water squishing around in the dirty boots of the hunters. And this also has the added benefit that it gives you a little bit more of the readability back there, because the whole ambience is very loud, but also the footsteps get also a little bit louder, so you can make people out a bit better. Yes, so next very interesting topic would be the interiors. Originally, we had a little bit of an issue regarding interiors because when you are outside, of course, everything is very loud. You can't hear very well. But when you're inside, of course, you get sheltered. You're away from the rain. You could still hear pretty much well. So you're inside, you're sheltered, you can hear people outside, but people outside cannot hear you, and that was kind of unfair. And one way we combated this was to also like bring the rain sound-wise to the insides by increasing the rattling, and you can hear a lot of like drips that are creaking through our cracked ceilings. And yeah, there's just also a lot more noise going on that draws you in, but also like evens the playing field for hunters that are inside and outside a bit. And last but not least, to support this, one of the most awesome aspects of Thundershower, which is the dynamicness of it. Of course, we have some transitions between the light and the heavy phases. And as I already mentioned, like if you pay attention, a lot changes in the soundscape. like the wind calms down, obviously the rain calms down, but you can also, like in the light phases, maybe hear a little bit of the wildlife that sticks up there and the noses again in the distance maybe, and yeah, just a lot happening. And also obviously we also want to make you feel uncomfortable in the rain. And there's always a little bit of corruption and a supernatural element to everything in Hunt, and that is also supported by sound.
Well, Christoph, thank you for talking so much about Thundershower and audio. I think it's a really interesting topic, and because of this, we will be having a blog on our website in the upcoming days where you can learn about this in a text format as well in more detail. Is there anything else you would like to add still at the end of this segment?
Yes, one thing, always keep in mind, when you cannot hear your enemy, that probably means that they also cannot hear you. So embrace Thundershower and don't get scared by it. And very last words, I want to give a shout out to the friends with which I play Hunt, Flip, Strolchi, Luca. I hope I didn't forget anybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And with that being said, we will be back with Dennis just in a second talking about Legends Return. But for now, let's listen to the wonderful audio of Thundershower. All right, welcome back, Dennis. I think you enjoyed this chat about audio as well.
It's amazing. Like I really love hearing all of that stuff. So it's really, really cool. By the way, if you're interested in hearing and listening to more of that stuff, we have also recently started with a series for 25 years Crytek, where we're going to go back into some of our previous projects. And we hear a lot of like devs, myself, others, talk about how things went on back then, what we did. So if you're really into that type of stuff, I think the link's probably going to be dropped in the chat soon. So please check it out.
Yeah, you can, of course, find it on our Crytek YouTube channel and social media as well, but it's worth watching.
It's the first episode of many to come.
Yeah, but now let's talk about Legends Return. So what is it exactly? What are we talking about here?
Yes, so there's been a lot of talk about like, hey, can we please get like this old hunter that I missed back? And it's a conversation that obviously lots of people who might, for example, have joined only with the 1896 release or after a certain event have been facing, are suffering from, and it's totally understandable. Now, with Legends Return, it's an initiative where we try to bring back some of those older skins, but we are doing that with adjustments. So it's not going to be exactly the same skins, but recolors, and at least that gives people who kind of missed out the last time a chance to still have hunters that are very, very close to those, and we still want to respect the exclusivity of the original ones to at least take them into the matches themselves with the different recolored versions.
Yeah, so you kind of already explained why these are back, because people ask for it a lot.
People ask for it.
And yeah, this is our first time we are doing this, and we really want to hear your feedback on it and our version of these variants and how you like it. So that is very important for us as for every other topic as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, let's look at the changes in between the old and new skins for now and how they return. So let's look at the hunters.
Right. So the two hunters that we've picked are the ones that we previously featured as part of our quest lines. So we talk about the skinned, and we talk about the help me.
The scaled ward.
The scaled ward, exactly. Oh, we had the new names in my head now. So let's first take a look at the skin. So on the left, you see the original version that people could unlock back then. On the right, you see the like reinterpretation, the recolored version. You can see like it is the same model, but like the guy has matured a little bit. He's become a bit older. He's seen stuff in the swamps like we all have. Yeah. And you can already see like also the weapon he carries looks a bit different from maybe the one you remember originally.
Yeah, we will definitely take a look at that bomb dance as well in a second. But yeah, he definitely faced Roger a lot in that time and aged a bit more. But of course, we have the old scaled ward, as we mentioned, and the scaled warrior.
Yeah, so now he returns as the scaled warrior, exactly as you can see again. It is very close to the original, but also he has modified a little bit. Like you see, his arms have changed a bit. There's going to be a bit of a different hue to his scales that he has on them. So it is very much the same skin, but he is re-envisioned a little bit, reinterpreted, recolored. And we hope that you guys really enjoy getting your hands on those if you didn't have a chance to kind of like participate in unlocking them before.
Yeah, and of course, you already hinted at it, but we don't just have the hunters, but we do have some reworked weapon skins as well. So let's look at the Berthier first.
Yeah, so we have like the new Berthier coming up here.
It's called a Fairman's Toll. Yeah.
This one looks really nice. So it's the same style as we had in the previous one with the coins, but obviously there's a different visual look to it. As again, same style as we've done with the hunters. It's going to be a recolor of the existing skin.
Yeah, and we previously had a bomb lance called Nola's Screw, and now it's called Nola's Tiller, as you could see,
yep,
in the hand of the Skinner.
What I really like about those is, in general, like also, you do have a chance to now combine some of those skins with different hunters, like in terms of color matches, etc. Like the previous one was a bit more red, now it is a bit more green. So you also might just like use them in different combinations with different hunters, which I think is really, really cool. Just giving you that extra option.
Yeah, but we also have the Scottfield Precision, that's now called Howling Gale, and previously it was Somber Gale.
Yeah, and here again, like, so now we do have a greenish color on it. Before it was more like a black sash. And again, works very differently with different hunters, and I think it's a very, very nice way of giving you that color variation.
Yeah, and the last weapon is our Officer Brawler called Last Chance, and before it was Killing Edge Chance.
Yeah, again, same concept, looks awesome, I love them. Like really, really enjoy using them, and will be doing so a lot.
And of course, we have a Duster as well as a tool, the only one, Golden Bruiser.
Yeah, same thing here, same treatment. Looks familiar, but still with a twist.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think with that, we are at the end of this segment, and we do have a big Q&A segment coming up where we will try to answer your questions. So if you haven't already, please put your questions in the chat, and we'll also look at our little helpers and try to answer as much as we can.
One maybe that's maybe a good segue into the Q&A. Up is like, do these replace the old versions? No, they're not. So this is a different version that you can unlock. So even if you already had, for example, the Scaled Ward from the quest lines, you can also get his new version now separately, and you can choose which one to use. So nothing is being overwritten. This is additional content, but obviously it gives people who didn't have a chance to get that content before now a chance to participate.
Yeah, and if it was not obvious, we already seen it in the chat now that we'll do originals return as well. We are honoring the exclusivity of those, so that's why we changed them slightly. So newer players still have a chance to get something very similar, but older players, veteran players can still keep their exclusive skins. There was a question about how often will Thundershower we encounter.
Yeah, I can look at the numbers here quickly. So initially, when Thundershower comes out, we obviously want you to experience it. We want you to see it. And so we have, I think on Stillwater Bayou, it's a chance of roughly 30%. And on Mammon's Gulch, it's 20% chance for the time of day to appear. Obviously, this is something that we will like look for feedback, and we can also adjust and will adjust depending, like we do in the past already for other things.
All right, another question about Thundershower, like why is it currently only in Stillwater Bayou and Mammon's Gulch?
So what was important for us was to get them out to you guys. Like, so as we've been busy, we've been going through a lot, like with like the rework of the Zal, the other maps, etc. There's only so much that we could do. So what we wanted to make sure is like not wait until all of them are ready and then release them, but actually get them to you as soon as is possible. These two are ready, they're awesome. We want you to to experience them, to play them, and more will be added along the way.
Yeah, I've seen a community contest-related question. Maybe I can just answer it. Why is it currently only on social media? So as we talked about it already a bit, it's the first experiment. It's something where players can actually impact the lore and the outcome of the game. We, of course, hear your feedback, and we may try to implement it more into the game, but it is more of some of a smaller scale experiment for now to see how it works out and if you actually like it.
Yeah, like for us, it's important. Like we want this because it's an important, cool thing also on the lore front to do, but we also want to make sure that we still have enough time for example, new contents. We have enough time for bug fixes and other things, like make sure that we don't distract from that. So that's why it is intentionally built in lightweight way to gauge how you guys like it, and then we do more with it in the future.
All right, I see a question about lobby invites and when we will get codes for lobby invites.
Yeah, so this is a feature that we can talk about more in the future, but it's actually on the way. So this is something that will be very interesting to talk about soon.
Of course, questions about the UI. Are we gonna improve it?
Oh, we always do. So yes, absolutely. This is actually pretty interesting. Also, like when we talked about like the recent survey, etc. So there's actually quite a lot of positivity about the UI with the recent changes we've been doing. We still have a couple more things also planned out for the rest of the year. So we talk about more about those with like update 2.5, etc. But I think overall we're getting step by step into a really, really good usable UI, which I think the majority of people are really happy with. But of course, the work never ends. It's always going to be more improvements.
Awesome. A lot of questions about when will Duo be able to match with a third party?
Yeah, so this is actually a feature that is very far advanced. Like, so this will be something that we can talk about a lot more in a very, very, very short time. So, but it's definitely progressing very well, I can tell you.
Someone asked what happens if you already own what's available in the Twitch shops, and just like in the previous campaigns, you will receive a random blood bond.
Yeah, I think there is a list of substitutes as part of the FAQ where you can see like if you already have it, that's what you would get. Also, like you might want to check out some of our partner videos when they go, which go a little bit more deeper in some of these mechanics as well.
All right, it's a fairly often question about so-called ping abusers, and what are we doing against
so
feature?
Obviously we can't go too much into detail because like the Fair Play Task Force is always trying to optimize this, but we also don't want to show our hand and make sure that like we don't give any exploits or booze away. But we're currently investigating, for example, having this a bit better measured on the server side, and that gives us a bit more control. But again, more of that we can talk about in the future, but don't expect us to really reveal all of these things because it's the classic shield versus sword, right? Like we want to make sure we don't open the door for exploitations.
Right. Let's talk about performance a bit. So some people ask about Dasal, and they are seeing that the FPS drops sometimes. I think you can even get it in general.
Yeah, like I mean, optimizations are always happening. We know a couple of things. Also, like on PlayStation is one thing, for example, where we're aware of a couple of points on crash side, etc. So anything which goes into stability, performance, etc. is an ongoing topic. We take it very seriously, and we're moving forward on that one, and expect more updates on that soon, obviously as well.
Another question about Thundershower. I think we answered it during the stream, but just to make sure that they get it, will Thundershower have heavy? Will it have heavy rain and light rain as well?
Yeah, so I mean, Thundershower is a dynamic time of day, right? It does have both of these sequences. There's a bit of an element of randomness in there, where you have 2 to 11 minutes of light rain, and again, sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter, followed by an interrupt of 2 minutes of heavy rain. Always 2 minutes of heavy rain. And so the moment you understand, oh, heavy rain is happening, you know that in the next 2 minutes, I can make my move. I can do something with it. It's predictable. But then once it recedes, once you go back to the light rain, that again, you have to kind of like take your chances, because it might be 5 minutes, it might be 11 minutes, it might just be 2 or 3 minutes until the next heavy rain sequence comes. So it's important that it doesn't become super predictable. But what was important for us is that you guys understand when the heavy rain starts, I can know within 2 minutes, do something with it. I can use it in my tactics. I can use it for my strategy.
And as Christoph said, if you can't hear someone, they can't hear you either, which is very important to know. Will there be any more Legends Return like releases in the future?
So this is an experiment for us also, like to kind of see how you guys like that. We plan on doing more, but the details of that one we can only talk about once we kind of review it, how this one went, what you like, what you didn't like, and then we find different ways, same ways, in the air.
Yeah. So what was the reason Thundershower was gone for a longer amount of time?
Primarily workload. So as you know, like we released Showdown 1896. We still had to do a lot of work on the maps to bring them back to the latest version of CryEngine, update them. As you can see, that paid out. Like Dasal being the latest edition, coming back to the game. So there's just only so much you can do at the same time. So that's why some of these things we had to do in sequence, and the time of days, specifically like Thundershower, was kind of like at the end of that sequence. But also still, we kind of brought it out now on 2 maps, which is important because we want you to play it right now. So we don't want you to wait another month or 2 or whatever until we have all of them ready. So it's important that you guys can experience this right away.
Definitely. A question that comes up quite often is about MMR, and are we going to improve it, make it fairer? What are we doing in front of MMR and matchmaking? Yeah,
so the Fair Play Task Force has already been doing some of that stuff, and this is an ongoing monitoring thing. I can talk about one thing, for example, that we've been doing a little bit under the hood recently. We've gone back to the solo modifiers for when you as a solo match into games, and we've done some testing on those. reduce some of them in terms of like the amount of opponents a solo would encounter and the tension that that creates. So we're monitoring that still. At the moment, looks very promising, but we're not 100% there yet. So we keep on going on. But with that, there will be more of these things happening under the hood. So sometimes it's also just that you might actually perceive, hey, did something change? And maybe the answer could be yes, maybe actually something did change because we've been tuning some knobs, and now we're taking like a week or two with those changes in a live environment to see actually, is it giving us an advantage? Does it work out? Or are we going back and kind of reverting those? So this is an ongoing thing that happens all the time. And yeah, you might not always notice it, but please give us your feedback, because it's also nice to see like, okay, they actually picked this particular change up, and that gives us some feedback too.
Something we haven't actually talked about is, will Thundershower will be available in Bounty Clash as well, or just Bounty Hunt?
At the moment, it should be back across the board, but about percentages, etc., I wouldn't be able to answer right now. But in Bounty Hunt, we will have a 30% on Stillwater Bayou and 20% chance on Mammoth's Gorge.
Awesome. All right, I think we went through.
Let's see if there's more.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a question about whether the Plague Doctor is returning. So obviously, like that's the first thing people think about when they see new skins. So no, the Plague Doctor will not return. This is the same way that we don't reveal like or release the old versions of the skins and the scaled ward, but recolored versions, new interpretations of them, because we want to respect the exclusivity that the original skin has as well.
It was asked how they can get the new Legends Return skins. I just can say that it will be in the in-game store as well as in the form of a bundle, so you can get it with Bloodbones, basically.
Yeah, grab those bundles.
Okay, let me just quickly scroll through, or if you see anything that we haven't tackled. In the meantime, I want to tell you players that we do have a survey out right now asking about you, the players. Yes. This would be very important for you to fill out and help us improve the game. So please link it in the chat for everyone. Please fill this survey out. As always, we have regular surveys nowadays, every maybe 2 during an event or after an event. So these are super important. So please check it out, fill it out. It really helps us.
Yeah. Please take the moment to fill them out. They really give us a lot of data. There was one question I noticed. So what is going on to happen with the rarity system? So like the rarity system, we're making some changes to that. I can't talk about right now what they are, but we definitely heard the feedback. So expect a bit more information about what exactly is going on with that one in the not too soon, but also not too far future.
All right, and with that, I think we answered most of the questions, a lot of that. So hope you enjoyed this stream about Legends Return and Thundershower. Christoph, off screen, and Dennis, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your questions. Please make sure to keep asking your questions. We try to collect them and answer them on these streams and on regular occasions when we can. Thank you again, Dennis.
Thank you for having me.
And remember, August 6th, Thundershower, Fish Drops, so only 6 days left now. Next week.
Around the corner.
So see you there. See you in the rain.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The forest veins, ruthless retribution, lock the garden gate. I say my lines and I make you believe. Predator, prey, and the wolf bears its teeth. The center of the orchard, I wait here in the dark. You think that I'm the victim.